Hello, everybody. This is Fruit Brew with Shift W. You know what? I read something online that was it was very personal to me. It's about Half-Life. It's called Epistle 3, written by Mark Laidlaw. It's a letter that I guess you could say it's kind of his closing to Half-Life and his explanation, a brief synopsis of what Half-Life 2 Episode 3 was supposed to be, at least what he wrote it to be, and him telling the player base that he's done with it all and not to expect a whole lot more from him. So I'm gonna play some Half-Life 2 today for the simple fact that all I've been able to think about was Half-Life and how it's all been affected. I know it sounds really silly that I do something like that, but I freaking love Half-Life. I've been playing it ever since it came out. I got it in 1998 when I was a wee lad. So I want to read through Epistle 3. Maybe you haven't seen it yet. Maybe talk a little bit about that quickly and then play some Half-Life 2 because I'm feeling really nostalgic. And I'm also a little sad that I'm not going to be seeing Episode 3. Episode 3 is gone. It's never going to happen. But there's a little hope at the end of the tunnel there. Half-Life 3 is still probably a thing if you take the epistle for what it says. So let's switch over here. All right. So this is Epistle 3. This is on Mark Laidlaw's website, okay? Here we go. Dearest Pelea. I like that. I hope this letter finds you well. I can hear your complaint already. Gertie Fremont, we have not heard from you in ages. Well, if you care to hear excuses, I have plenty. The greatest of them being, I've been in other dimensions and whatnot, unable to reach you by the usual means. This was the case until 18 months ago when I experienced a critical change in my circumstances and was redeposited on these shores. In the time since, I have been able to think occasionally about how to best describe the intervening years, my years of silence. I do first apologize for the wait, and that done, hasten to finally explain, albeit briefly, quickly, and in very little detail, probably because Valve won't let him get into any kind of detail, any kind of serious detail. Events following those described in my previous letter, referred to herewith as Epistle 2. You know, I haven't even looked for Epistle 2 yet. I'm going to check it out and see if that exists. I don't know. Maybe it does. To begin with, as you may recall from the closing paragraphs of my previous missive, the death of Eli Vaughn shook us all. Eli Vaughn, of course, being Eli Vance. The research and rebellion team was traumatized. Unable to be sure how much of our plan might be compromised and whether it made any sense to go on at all as we had intended. And yet, once Ellie had been buried, we found the strength and courage to regroup. It was the strong belief of her son, the feisty Alex Vaughn, that's Alex Vance, been a little bit of a gender swap here, that we should continue on as his mother had wished. We had the Antarctic coordinates transmitted by Ellie's longtime assistant, Dr. Jerry Moss, Dr. Mossman, which are believed to mark the location of the lost luxury liner, the Hyperborea. Ellie had felt strongly the Hyperborea should be destroyed rather than allow it to fall in the hands of the disparate. Others on our team disagreed, believing that the Hyperborea might hold the secret to the revolution's success. Either way, the arguments were moot until we found the vessel. Therefore, immediately after the service for Dr. Vaughn, Alex and I boarded a seaplane and set off for the Antarctic. Much larger support team, mainly militia, was to follow by a separate transport. It is still unclear to me what brought down our little aircraft. The following hours spent traversing the frigid waste in a blizzard are also a jumbled blur, ill-remembered and poorly defined. The next thing I clearly recall is our final approach to the coordinates Dr. Moss had provided, and where we expected to find the Hyperborea. What we found instead was a complex, fortified installation showing all the hallmarks of sinister, desperate technology. It surrounded a large open field of ice. Of the Hypnos itself, there was no sign, or not at first. I think Hypnos is the actual Combine soldiers themselves. hypnosis is one of the few things I've been able to determine. I've been able to identify in this whole writing so far. I think it's the Combine Soldier, maybe Civil Protection, Overwatch, something like that. But as we stealthily infiltrated the disparate installation, we noticed a recurrent, strangely coherent aural effect, as of a vast hologram fading in and out of view. This bizarre phenomenon initially seemed an effect caused by an immense disparate lensing system. Alex and I soon realized that what we were actually seeing was the luxury liner Hyperborea itself, phasing in and out of existence at the focus of the disparate devices. The aliens had erected their compound to study and seize the ship wherever it materialized. What Dr. Moss had provided were not coordinates for where the sub was located, but instead for where it was predicted to arrive. The liner was oscillating in and out of reality. Its pulses were gradually steadying, but there was no guarantee it would settle into place for long or at all. We determined that we must put ourselves in a position to board it at the instant it became completely physical. At this point, we were briefly detained. Not captured by the desperate, as we feared at first, but by minions of our former nemesis, the conniving and duplicitous Wanda Bree. Of course, Wanda Bree is Dr. Breen, the administrator. Dr. Bree was not as we had last seen her, which is to say, she wasn't dead. At some point, the disparate had saved out an earlier version of her consciousness, and upon her physical demise, they had imprinted the backup personality into a biological blank, resembling an enormous slug. Sounds like his mind was transferred into an advisor or something like that. The Bree slug, despite occupying a position of relative power in the desperate hierarchy, seemed nervous and frightened of me in particular. Wanda did not know how her previous incarnation, the original Dr. Bree, had died. She knew only that I was responsible. Therefore, the slug treated us with great caution. Still, she soon confessed, never able to keep quiet for long, that she herself was a prisoner of the desperate. She took no pleasure from her current grotesque existence and pleaded with us to end her life. Alex believed that a quick death was more than Wanda Bree deserved, but for my part, I felt a modicum of pity and compassion. Out of Alex's sight, I might have done something to hasten the slug's demise before we proceeded. So Alex killed Dr. Breen finally. I guess she did it, she put him through a little bit of pain, you know what I'm saying? Not far from where we had been detained by Dr. Bree, we found Jerry Moss being held in a desperate interrogation cell. Things were tense between Jerry and Alex, as might be imagined. Alex blamed Jerry for his mother's death, news of which Jerry was devastated to hear for the first time. Jerry tried to convince Alex that he had been a double agent, serving the resistance all along, doing only what Ellie asked of him, even though he knew it meant he risked being seen by his peers, by all of us, as a traitor. I was convinced, Alex less so, but from a pragmatic point of view, we depended on Dr. Moss. For along with the Hyperborea coordinates, he possessed resonance keys, which would be necessary to bring the liner fully into our plane of existence. We skirmished with desperate forces, protecting a Dispar research post. Then Dr. Moss attuned the Hyperborea to precisely the frequencies needed to bring it into brief coherence. In the short time available to us, we scrambled aboard the ship, with an unknown number of disparate agents close behind. The ship cohered only for a short time, and then its oscillations resumed. It was too late for our own military support, which arrived and joined the disparate forces in battle, just as we rebounded between universes, once again unmoored. What happened next is even harder to explain. Alex Vaughn, Dr. Moss, and myself sought control of the ship, its power source, its control room, its navigation center. The liner's history proved non-linear. Years before, during the disparate invasion, various members of an earlier science team working in the hull of a dry-docked liner situated in the Towson Island Research Base in Lake Huron. Towson Island Research Base. It's Aperture Science. Had assembled what they called the bootstrap device. If it worked as intended, it would emit a large field enough to surround the ship. This field would then itself travel instantaneously to any chosen destination without having to cover the intervening space. There's no need for entry or exit portals or any other devices. It was entirely self-contained. Unfortunately, the device had never been tested. As a disparate pushed Earth into a 9-hour Armageddon, the aliens seized control of our most important research facilities. The staff of the Hyperborea, with no other wish than to keep the ship out of desperate hands, acted in desperation. They switched on the field and flung the Hyperborea toward the most distant destination they could target, Antarctica. What they did not realize was that the bootstrap device traveled in time as well as space. Nor was it limited to one time or one location. The Hyperborea, at the moment of its activation, were stretched across space and time between the nearly forgotten Lake Huron of the 9-hour Armageddon and the present-day Antarctic. It was pulled taut as an elastic band, vibrating, except where at certain points along its length one could find still points, like the harmonic spots along a vibrating guitar string. One of these harmonics was where we boarded, but the string ran forward and back in both time and space, and we were soon pulled in every direction ourselves. Time grew confused. Looking from the bridge, we could see the dry docks of Tassin Island. At the moment of teleportation, just as the disparate forces closed in from land, sea, and air. At the same time, we could see the Antarctic wastelands, where our friends were fighting to make their way to the Protean Hyperborea. And in addition, glimpses of other worlds, somewhere in the future perhaps, or even in the past. Now this is interesting. To me, because they can see other worlds. I wonder if Zen is one of those worlds, or maybe, I think they ended up seeing the Combine. That's a little bit later in the story here, the Combine world, or their staging area. But maybe they saw the Race X aliens world, right? Race X were some of the added aliens in opposing force. Just the way Laidlaw is describing this, I would just think it'd be amazing to be on that ship in episode 3 and to see all these different worlds around you and everything kind of changing all at once, being pulled taut like that string, like he described in the beginning, or in the paragraph before. I could just see all these really, really incredible vistas that they can make on this boat. Alex grew convinced we were seeing one of the disparate central staging areas for invading other worlds, such as our own. We meanwhile fought a running battle throughout the ship, pursued by disparate forces. We struggled to understand our situation and to agree to a course of action. Could we alter the course of the Hyperborea? Should we run underground in the Antarctic, giving our peers the chance to study it? Should we destroy it with all hands aboard, our own included? It was impossible to hold a coherent thought, given the baffling and paradoxical time loops which passed through the ship like bubbles. I felt I was going mad. That we all were, confronting myriad versions of ourselves in that ship that was half ghost ship, half nightmare funhouse. God, nightmare funhouse. Jesus Christ. What it came down to at last was a choice. It's time to choose, Dr. Freeman. Time to choose. See, what it came to at last was a choice. But it seems like, choice in Half-Life, there is no choice in Half-Life. Literally the game is linear, of course. You can't really choose what path you want to go, at least in the direction of the story. It's all one way. But you do everything as the G-Man sees fit. At least that's the way I've come to see it. He loses you a little bit, I think, in episode 1. Or was it episode 2? I haven't played those in a while. Maybe I'll get to them at some point. But there really is never a choice in Half-Life. It's always, you are going to do this. I'm thinking of from inside the story itself, not the actual game, not the linearity of the game, but choice is an important recurring theme in Half-Life, so I think it's interesting he put this in here. He's keeping that alive. Jerry Moss argued reasonably that we should save the Hyperborea and deliver it to the Resistance, that our intelligent peers might study and harness its power. But Alex reminded me she had sworn he would honor his mother's demand that we destroy the ship. He hatched a plan to set the Hyperborea to self-destruct while riding it into the heart of the Disparate's invasion nexus. I find it hard that a luxury liner would have a self-destruct button on it, but yeah. Jerry and Alex argued. Jerry overpowered Alex and brought the Hyperborea area, preparing to shut off the bootstrap device and settle the ship on the ice. Then I heard a shot, and Jerry fell. Alex had decided for all of us, or his weapon had. Well, Alex did. Weapons can't choose anything. With Dr. Moss dead, we were committed to the suicide plunge. Grimly, Alex and I armed the Hyperborea, creating a time-traveling missile, and steered it for the heart of the Disparate's command center. At this point, as you'll no doubt be unsurprised to hear, a certain sinister figure appeared in the form of that sneering trickster, Mrs. X. Now, of course, that's the G-Man. And I liked how he put in the certain sinister figure. I think it was Blue Shift or maybe Opposing Force, where someone described the G-Man as a certain, like, sinister bureaucrat, something like that. Or as a sinister bureaucrat or mysterious bureaucrat. Certain something bureaucrat. For once, she appeared not to me, but to Alex Vaught. Alex had not seen the cryptical schoolmarm since childhood, but he recognized her instantly. Schoolmarm. Isn't a schoolmarm like a woman teacher? Is he trying to say that the G-Man was a teacher? Or some shit? Oh, that's a weird choice. Weird. But he recognized her instantly. Come along with me now. We've got... Oh, sorry. I got a G-Man, right? Come along with me now. We've places to do and things to be, said Mrs. X, and Alex acquiesced. He followed the strange gray lady out of the Hyperborea, out of our reality. For me, there was no convenient door held open, only a snicker and a sideways glance. I was left alone, riding the weaponized luxury liner into the heart of a disparate world. That's kind of Dr. Strangelove, isn't it? Like the guy who was riding the nuke as it dropped. An immense light blazed. I caught a cosmic view of a brilliantly glittering Dyson sphere. Dude, Dyson spheres are blowing up on V right now, man. There's a whole fucking mega thread on Dyson spheres. It's really funny. The vastness of the Disparate's power, the futility of our struggle, blossomed briefly in my awareness. I saw everything. Mainly, I saw how the Hyperborea, our most powerful weapon, would register as less than a fizzling match head as it blew itself apart. And what remained of me would be even less than that. Just then, as you surely already foreseen, the ghastly haunts parted their own checkered curtains of reality, reached in as they have on prior occasions, plucked me out and set me aside. I barely got to see the fireworks begin. The ghastly haunts are the Vortigons. They're in that kind of void world that the G-Man goes into at the beginning and end of a lot of the games. And this is the saddest part right here. This is the sad part of the entire epistle. I don't know why I keep calling it epistle of the episode, I guess. And here we are. I spoke of my return to this shore. It's been a circuitous path to lands I once knew, and surprising to see how much the terrain has changed. Enough time has passed that few remember me, or what I was saying when I last spoke, or what precisely we hoped to accomplish. At this point, the resistance will have failed or succeeded, no thanks to me. Old friends have been silenced or fallen by the wayside. I no longer know or recognize most members of the research team, though I believe the spirit of rebellion still persists. I expect you know better than I the appropriate course of action, and I leave you to it. Expect no further correspondence from me regarding these matters. This is my final epistle. Yours in infinite finality, Gertrude Fremont, Ph.D. So this is why it's so sad, because basically this last paragraph here, I feel is Mark Laidlaw speaking through Gordon Freeman. Actually, I think this whole thing is Mark Laidlaw speaking through Gordon Freeman. Gordon is the mouthpiece of Laidlaw in this. Nice, clever writing, though. And if you look at this from Laidlaw's point of view, this last paragraph is pretty important, right? So it's been a circuitous path to lands I once knew, and surprised to see how much the terrain has changed. So he's kind of saying, he's talking about how, he began on Half-Life and he ended on Half-Life. His career with Valve started and ended with Half-Life. Circuitous, right? Surprising to see how much the terrain has changed. Valve, I think Gabe was saying something in 2007 about how they were really churning it out, trying to get Half-Life 2 Episode 3 done and churned out. That was, I think it was 10 years ago. And since then, it's changed a lot. They're doing Dota now. They're doing, Counter-Strike Go, Team Fortress 2 hats, all this microtransaction garbage. Not to say those games are bad. I'm just saying, this whole chess thing and shit like that. That's not what real, I shouldn't say real fans of Valve, but people who love Half-Life. What got them most interested in Valve in the first place as a great developer, as a great, designer of games and studio. They care about Half-Life, right? And the terrain has changed. It's just the terrain being Valve, the situation of Valve has just changed immensely. Enough time has passed that few remember me or what I was saying when I last spoke or precisely we hope to accomplish. So he's talking about that time, He's been out of Valve, I think, for what, like a year now? 6 months, something like that? And over that time, hasn't been at Valve. Since the terrain has changed so much, the terrain, right? The situation at Valve, including employees changing and stuff like that. Few remember what Laidlaw was trying to do with Episode 3. And exactly how he wanted it to go, because he's not there. And since he has no more input, he can't keep him on that track. At this point, the resistance will have failed or succeeded, no thanks to me. The resistance, I think, are people within Valve that are actively trying to make Episode 3 or Half-Life 3 actually happen. Okay? I think he pretty concretely says here that, there's no way Episode 3 is going to happen, but Half-Life. The resistance are the people at Valve that want to make Half-Life. But of course he wouldn't know. So, it's either it's happening and there's still a little bit of hope from the people in that resistance, or it's totally screwed. Old friends have been silenced or fallen by the wayside. I like this sentence a lot too, because you got to think of it. There's been a lot of very famous people that have left Valve right now in game development, especially the writing side of it. I know there were some tech people that left. I can't remember exactly who they were, but the writers are still fresh, because they're the ones who made kind of the one of the most interesting parts of a game so popular for Valve. That's Eric Wolpaw, Chet Falachek, and Pinkerton. I can't remember his first name. And then, of course, Laidlaw at the end. Laidlaw's the one who started it all. So, yeah, old friends have been silenced or fallen by the wayside. I think he's directly referencing those people. I think they all worked in the same office, too. Like, they all had the same little office. I no longer know or recognize most members of the research team, though I believe the spirit of rebellion still persists. Again, he's kind of reiterating the research team being the employees at Valve, the resistance or the rebels being the people that want to make Half-Life within those employees, very small minority. They got to really fight to do it or to keep it alive. But the employees have just changed. He doesn't know anybody there anymore. He's been there so long. He was there for so long. People changed. He's left. And still, people, everything's changed in terms of the people that work there. And I believe that even though all of these people have come and gone and new people have entered in their place, that the idea of Half-Life is still fresh in their mind. It's still there. So there's hope. I expect you know better than I the appropriate course of action. I leave you to it. So he's talking to us now, the player. Right? I expect you know better than I the appropriate course of action. I leave you to it. Talking directly to us. I mean, I'm not entirely sure what he means here. I guess maybe he's suggesting to the player base that, if you ever really want to see another Half-Life and make sure it gets done, that you continue to show interest in Half-Life and continue to harass Valve about it. I mean, that's all I can think of. Expect no further correspondence from me regarding these matters. This is my final epistle. That's just Laidlaw saying, I'm done. I can't do anything with this anymore. And then yours infinite finality. I'm out. Don't ask me. Gertrude Fremont, a.k.a. Mark Laidlaw. So there you have it. There you have it, man. That's the epistle. I thought it was really interesting. I really like the part where he talks about the G-Man coming back and going for Alex instead of for him. For me, there was no convenient door held open, only a sideways snicker and a glance. Come along with me now. We've got places to do and things to be. Yeah. Dude, that's nuts. I mean, let's assume for a second that Valve actually keeps what Mark Laidlaw wrote for Half-Life 2 Episode 3. I'll just call it Episode 3. They keep that storyline there. And somehow they incorporate it into Half-Life 3 if it ever gets made. You got to imagine that this has to be covered at some point. They might gloss over it since they're just going to jump to a third one. But if this were into a game, the end of this episode, the G-Man takes Alex instead of Gordon. To me, that's going to imply that if there were a Half-Life 3, you wouldn't play as Gordon anymore, you'd play as Alex. At least that's my prediction. Half-Life 3 will be Alex Vance. You're playing as Alex Vance. It seems like you're no longer employed, and that Alex is now. And I'd love to know what the agreement was. I'd love to know why. Well, you never know why for any of these things, do you? I mean, the G-Man got interesting offers for Gordon's services. All right, but enough of this horse shit. Very interesting. It's very sad, but there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. I think this is more a positive message than anything. Let's play some Half-Life, shall we? Half-Life 2 coming at you. All right, cool. There we are. We are treated to a scene of Ravenholm at night. Ravenholm is one of the weakest parts of this game, I think. But before we do that, let's check a couple things here. Cool. All right, good. Everything's going good with the stream, it looks like. Cool, cool, cool. Fuck it, let's do live. Half-Life 2. I'm going to start in the beginning. And of course, I can't stream this whole thing now. But, yeah, maybe I'll pop on another day. Who knows? I am terrible at completing games, but fuck it. Half-Life's my favorite game ever made. I must have played this game at least 10 times. The first Half-Life, probably just as many. And Half-Life 1, I think, is a lot longer than Half-Life 2. Could be wrong on that, but at least it felt longer. I remember starting off, getting on the tram in the first game, and I remember it taking forever to get to surface tension, a level called surface tension. When you finally make it out, you have the head crabs start popping up out of the sand at you, and you're out of the facility at large. I think it was after residue processing or something. Point insertion, here we go.
Rise and shine, Mr. Freeman. Rise and shine. Not that I wish to imply you have been sleeping on the job. No one is more deserving of a rest, and all the effort in the world would have gone to waste until... well, let's just say your hour has come again.
My God.
The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference in the world.
The right man in the wrong place.
So wake up, Mr. Freeman. Wake up and smell the ashes.
God, it's so weird, huh? City 17. I don't know how you folks play Half-Life, but for some reason I get so sucked into it. I don't just go balls to the wall straight to the objective. Well, like, not really objectives, but straight to what you need to do to advance the game. I look around, and every time I feel like I find something different. So.
Well, end of the line.
Certainly is. What's up, boss?
No matter how many times I've been relocated, I never get used to it.
Yeah, I hear you, bro.
You have chosen or been
Little
chosen
Dr.
to
Breen.
relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers.
The first time that happened, I was like, wow, it follows you.
That I elected to establish my administration here in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors. I've been proud to call City 17 my home. And so, whether you are here to stay or passing through on your way to parts unknown, welcome to City 17.
Traveling to parts unknown, huh? There's the Vortigaunt that's still enslaved somehow. Now I'm curious, does he... Oh, I can't zoom because I have my hazard suit on. So at one point, after you freed the Vortigaunts from the Nihilith, they didn't have their cuffs on. But this one, it looks like he still has his cuffs on. So he's still enslaved. You'll notice that all the other Vortigaunts are not going to have those cuffs.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen or been chosen to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers.
This stuff, it's all I have left.
I thought so
They
much
really
of
set this up well, too.
All right, I'm moving.
Elected to establish
They're really setting this shit up well. And I can recall one of my first few playthroughs, I watched that happen, and I wanted to get a closer look, and this is what happened. Check this out. So he pushes you away, right? You come back again, and he's like, hey man, don't fuck with me. And you come back again, he whacks you. It's neat little behavior. Neat little behavior.
Were you the only ones on that train?
No? I think so. Let me come through. Let's chit chat, lady.
Overwatch stopped our train in the woods and took my husband for questioning. They said he'd be on the next train. I'm not sure when that was. They're being nice, though, letting me wait for him.
Oh, yeah. They're being nice, huh?
Welcome.
Fuck.
Welcome to City 17.
I've never looked through these before.
You have chosen
a bunch
or
of shit
been
in here.
chosen to relocate to one of our finest remaining urban centers. I thought so much
Cola.
of City 17 that I
Dr.
elected to
Breen's Private
establish
Reserve.
my administration here in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by
And this is a very famous scene coming up. Oh no, not yet, not yet.
Call City
Not
17
yet.
my home.
But it's if you talk to the people here, they say some weird shit.
Don't drink the water. They put something in it to make you forget. I don't even remember how I got here.
He doesn't remember how he got to City 17. That's just messed up.
You never see them go. They're always full. No one ever gets on, but they're always departing, but they never
He's
arrive.
like mumbling to
And
himself
once
about
they do arrive, they never leave.
the train
You never see
schedule.
them go. They're always full. No one ever
They
gets
just,
on, but they're
Valve
always-
does such a good job of
always
setting up
departing, but
this
they never arrive.
City 17, making the
never
setting
leave.
very obvious
You never
what's
see
going
them
on.
go.
You
They're
know?
always full. No one ever gets on, but they're always departing, but they never arrive.
Very
Welcome.
dystopian
do
setting.
Welcome to City 17. You have chosen
I see they took your
or
suitcase
been
too.
chosen
They
to
can't get away with this
relocate
much
to
longer.
one of
I got
our
an HEV
finest
suit, bro.
remaining
I don't need a
centers.
suitcase.
I thought so much
I'm
of
working up the
City
nerve to go
17
on.
that I elected to
Yeah, I hear
establish
you.
my administration
I wouldn't
here
want to go there either,
in
bro.
the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefit.
Dr. Breen again?
I've been proud
I was hoping I'd seen the last of him in City 14.
City
I
14.
wouldn't say that too loud. This is his base of operations.
I wonder what City 14 was like. Was it like this one?
Welcome to City 17.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Welcome. I think they used that as a reference. Welcome to City 17.
Where are you taking me?
Oh, see, look, the Metro cop is taking him in for questioning. Shit. Hey, boss. I like how everyone makes eye contact with you, too.
Welcome. Welcome to City 17.
Alright, so we're about to...
You have chosen or been chosen to relocate
So we're...
to one
We
of
can't
our
go there.
finest
Oh,
remaining
whoa,
urban
okay, okay,
centers.
okay. Okay.
I thought so much of
So we're heading to
City
Nova
17
Prospect.
that I elected to establish my administration here in the citadel so thoughtfully provided by our benefactors.
I'm not going to Nova Prospect.
City 17, my
That's a good thing I'm not going to Nova Prospect. That place is a hellhole, man. If I ever decide to stream this again, you'll see.
To City 17. It's safer here.
I don't want to go with you. Are they gonna do anything if I don't go? Shit. Alright.
This must be a mistake.
Oh, he's
I got
getting
a standard
questioned.
relocation coupon just like everybody else.
Oh, he's gonna get beat down. He's getting beat down. Okay. Oh, shit. I remember seeing marketing material for this game when it was coming out. You walk into this room and this is where it went blank. Faded to black. Seeing that was really cool. It's like, whoa, this is gonna
About
be
that
freaky.
beer I owed you.
What's up, Barney?
It's me, Gordon. Barney from Black Mesa.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, sorry for the scare. I had to put on a show for the cameras. I've been working
Heights
undercover
going
with
here.
civil protection. I can't take too long or they'll get suspicious. I'm way behind on my beating quota.
Beating quota, huh?
Yes, Barney, what is it? I'm in the middle of
Dr.
a critical
Kleiner.
test.
Sorry, Doc, but look who's here.
Great
Where is the
Scott!
camera? How do they see me?
Gordon
Where's the
Freeman.
camera?
I expected more
I
warning.
don't see a
Yeah,
camera.
you and me both, Doc. He was about to board the express to Nova
Is that it?
Prospect.
Well, Barney, what do you intend?
I'm thinking.
Alex is around here somewhere.
Somewhere.
She would have a better idea how to get him here.
Well, as long as he stays away from checkpoints,
You know, the
we should
difference
be
from
okay.
going from
Listen, I
Half-Life
gotta
1 to
go, Doc.
Half-Life
We're
2 is
taking enough chances
very
as it
different,
is.
you know?
Very well.
Half-Life
And,
1, it was
Gordon,
very solitary.
Good to see you.
You had the occasional
Okay,
scripted
Gordon,
sequence and
you're
stuff,
gonna
but
have to
never
make
any
your own
kind
way
of
to Dr.
characters that
Kleiner's
you know, stuck with.
Man, that's what I was afraid of. Get in here, Gordon, before you blow my cover.
I think they rushed this a little too much.
There's no time to waste here, Gordon. Get a move on.
Alright. What's quick save though? Keyboard. F6 is quick save. Okay. But yeah, anyway, you never really attach to any one character, mostly because all the characters are very
move
generic.
it now, will ya?
All the scientists are, I think, one of 4 different models. Security guards were all one model until, I think, the opposing force of Blue Shift. Shut up. And then they really took this and just created a whole bunch, you know. Eli Vance, I think, was based off of the
Get going, Gordon.
The black scientist who got his hand burnt after the Resonance Cascade occurred. They said, "Oh, our equipment was never designed to do this." You know, you have Barney modeled after the security guard. Kleiner was, I think, the bald scientist, but you saw these scientists everywhere, and you didn't really think anything about it. But when you started playing Half-Life 2, all that changed big time.
Right,
you never thought of them in Half-Life 1 as being someone that you would see as a character or any kind of recurring character, someone that would play a narrative part in the
Keep going until you're in the plaza. I'll meet up with you later.
All right, physics time. Good old physics time. Of course, you know, no Half-Life game would be complete without the good old crouch jump. There you go. Cool. Crouch jump is a very important jump. And if you couldn't learn that crouch jump skill, you were never going to get the game. You're never going to like it. And this is another thing I really love about this game. If I go out, will it load again? No, the loading thing's done. The nice thing about Half-Life is that everything's pretty seamless. You know, the only thing that tells you that the next map is loading is that little thing that says loading, the little text box. In Portal 2, I was so disappointed that they had an actual loading screen. It took me out of the game completely. I don't know why. Very irritating. I always had this idea that Valve was trying to keep everything very seamless. And they had up until Portal 2. Don't know why. Portal 1 was extremely seamless. No loading screens or anything. This is the famous scene right here. This is the famous part. So he's going to knock that thing down, be an asshole. Ready? Yeah. This is probably one of the first times in a video game where they actually had to have me do something like this, and I thought it was really strange. Okay. Fuck it up.
As a species, immortality is inevitable. This simple fact has far-reaching implications.
They really nailed the Combine voice in this thing too. I really like the voice of the HECU soldiers. Nah, it's called fucking soldiers over there. In Half-Life 1, that really deep kind of radio type of voice. They nailed it in both the games. Nailed it.
The line starts at the end.
Food or clothes or something?
I don't know about you, but I'm ready to join civil protection just to get a decent meal.
Yeah, I hear you. So that's how they get their meals.
You'll have to wait your turn like everybody else. You've got to be damn hungry to wait in line for this crap. You'll have to wait your turn like everybody else. The line starts at the end.
And today we clearly see its true nature. Instinct has just
it takes a long time to get one meal. Damn.
Its irrelevance. And like a cornered beast, it will not go down without a bloody fight.
Oh!
Instinct would inflict
oh shit, he's gonna kill me.
on our species. Instinct creates its own oppressors and bids us rise up against them.
Now listen, he's talking about the suppression field.
Instinct tells us that the unknown is a threat rather than an opportunity.
Threat.
Instinct slyly and covertly compels us away from change and progress.
Away from change and progress.
Instinct, therefore, must be expunged.
Dude.
It must be fought tooth and nail, beginning with the basest of human urges, the urge to reproduce.
God, that's sick, man.
We should thank our benefactors for giving us respite from this overpowering force. They have thrown a switch and exorcised our demons in a single stroke.
Exorcise the demons!
They have given us the strength we never could have summoned to overcome this compulsion. They have given us purpose. They have turned our eyes toward the stars. Let me assure you that the suppressing field will be shut off on the day
Oh, sure.
that we have mastered ourselves. The day we can prove we no longer need it.
No fucking
And
way.
that day of transformation, I have it on good authority, is close at hand.
It's always close at hand. Dr. Breen, you motherfucker. You know, Dr. Breen might not be so bad after all. In that epilogue, in the epistle that I read at the beginning of this, the fight against the Combine was hopeless to begin with. You know, maybe he was trying to buy everybody time. Maybe he wasn't as bad as everybody thought. And this is just... what a great job. Building a believable place. Oh my god.
Let me read a letter I recently received. Dear Dr. Breen, why has
There's some
the
checkpoints.
Combine seen 56
Oh, I'm
hours
sorry.
reproductive
Precinct 6.
Sincerely, concerned
Alright, I'm
citizen.
backing off. So Precinct 6 is
Right.
that way.
Concerned. Of course, the
Terminal
question
Hotel.
touches on one of the basic biological impulses.
This is Precinct
All
13.
its associated hopes and fears for the future.
Alright.
I also detect some unspoken
Can't read
questions.
whatever language that
Do
is.
our benefactors
Russian or
really know
something.
what's best for us? What gives them the right to make this kind of decision for mankind?
Cafe
Will
Baltic.
they ever deactivate the suppression field and let us breed again?
This is a really nice looking train station.
Allow me to address the
You know, for being a 10-year-old game, the graphics are still okay, man.
rather than try to answer every possible question.
Oh, shit.
that might arise. First,
Someone's getting beat down.
consider the fact that for the first time ever,
What's he doing in there? Yeah, he's arresting someone. See that? Cracks in the door. What's up, bro?
this simple
town,
fact
aren't you?
has far
Yeah, I am.
implications.
I'm definitely new in town. Wait, if I'm at... Whoa. There's the Strider.
I'd like to help you, but it's out of the question.
Why?
We can't be seen talking to each
We
other.
can't even talk to each other?
Word to the wise, keep it to yourself.
Yeah. Jesus, fuck. Alright. So when I first played this game, I remember walking around here trying to figure out where to go. And getting very frustrated. So I couldn't figure out, and then I realized you gotta think with physics in this game. Not that any of the physics puzzles are all that difficult, but this one wasn't clear to me because I hadn't played a game that really required you to use physics at all. And they had that little box stacking thing to get you out of the building with Barney, so that was kind of your tutorial into it without being an actual tutorial. And it took me a little bit, but I figured out we're gonna go down there. Let's see what happens here. Can't do anything. Get away. I can still hear that Strider walking around. Hear that? Boom. Boom. God, this thing is annoying. Oh shit.
Local civil protection team report.
They're taking pictures of the citizens here. Look at them all. Jesus. 4 scanners, damn. Wonder what they did. Hey man, I was on my way, bro.
This is how it always starts. First the building, then the whole block. They have no reason to come to our place. Don't worry, they'll find one.
Typical government, right? Am I right? Typical government, right? So I was told that if you're really quiet, unless I read this somewhere, if you're really quiet, you can hear like children crying or something. I don't hear it. I hear a pigeon. Did you hear it? Listen. You hear that echoey screaming? Yeah, it's there. Wonder if it repeats. I don't think they're gonna play it again. That's unfortunate. It's creepy though, huh? The little things that you notice when you take your time playing a game like this, it really builds the value of it, you know? Not the value, but the intrigue factor, I guess. Good old CP. Civil protection. Alright, I'm going. Alright. So this is another really famous scene as we go through here. We're going to meet some people. Oh, here's the break-in. Boom. Unlawful entry. 603, unlawful entry. No, I don't want a non-compliance verdict. Shit. So basically people that have had the will just fucking sucked out of them right here. This is it.
Was that you knocking? I didn't even know we still had a door.
Yeah, it's like, fuck it, right? I'm surprised they have Chinese food, though.
Oh, I thought you were a cop.
Nah, I'm good.
He's one of us.
Look at him down there.
I told you they'd be coming for us next.
There they go.
Just this once, I hope you're wrong.
Oh, shit. The alarms have sounded. This is a nice little touch, ready? You pick up the TV and unplug it. There's nice little touches all over this game. He took one of the tic-tac-toe things.
Watch it, will you?
Yeah, fine, sorry. Alright, I'm moving.
I can't take it anymore.
It's gonna be okay.
What are we going to do?
We'll think of something.
These two couple, this couple makes a
When
reappearance
is
in
this
the
all
game.
going to end?
I think they were in it a couple times.
Please.
It's all right.
It's alright, it's okay. Don't worry, it's alright. It's not alright. This is not alright. They had this. They had to separate them, their apartments with fucking bookshelves and shit. Sorry. Your shitty little bathroom. Ugh. Let's move on. Here's the famous scene.
Miscount detected
And where?
in your block.
Up here?
Cooperation with your civil protection team.
See, like he's coming closer. Everyone's kind of coming in on you. What's up, bro?
Head for the roof. There's no time
Oh,
to
shit.
lose.
What's happening? Oh, civil protection. Run. You got no weapons. Oh, civil protection. Go, go, go. They're gonna cut you off here. Oh, shit. Playing through this the first time, I was like, oh my god.
Keep moving. Head for the roof.
Fucking 1, 2, 3, 4. No. There it goes. Did they break in yet? It must be a trigger up ahead to break the door down. See, when you know what happens, you kind of break it a little bit, but originally, that was fucking some scary shit right there. Oh, they shot his ass. Yeah, there they are. They're on guns now. Go up here. Good old airships. This freaky kind of... they're almost alive, the airships. I feel like they're part living, part machine. Oh! What was that? Damn. some Metro Cops down there. Yeah, I'm not going back out there. Fuck that. Okay. Oh! And then they go back this way and up! Oh, no!
Over here! Ha, no, you don't!
Before introduced to Alex, of course. God, it's like one big nostalgia trip, man.
Dr. Freeman, I presume.
And those facial expressions just weren't...
Better hurry.
You didn't see facial expressions like that in games of the time.
You don't want to get in their way.
Not as good as the ones they have here. I think it was in a tech demo for an E3 thing for Half-Life. They demoed.
I don't think it occurred to him
how
that you might not have a map.
How the facial expression animation system worked, and it was just incredible.
I'm Alex Vance. My father worked with you back in Black Mesa. I'm sure you don't remember me, though.
I don't know if you're Native American or what.
And a few words, aren't you?
She certainly doesn't look like a black lady. You know what I mean? She's very, very light-skinned. She must be.
Remember him from Black Mesa? Your old administrator. Don't get my dad started on Dr. Breen.
I think originally the G-Man was supposed to be the administrator. They changed that, I think.
Funny, you showing up on this day in particular.
It is a red letter day. Of course, she just jumps over.
We've been helping people escape the city on foot. It's a dangerous route to my father's lab, through the old canals. Today, we're finally on the verge of having a better way.
Oh, yeah.
Here, let me buy you a drink.
Oh, thank you so much. So I like myself some scotch.
Oh, and by the way, nice to finally meet you.
Oh, yeah, nice to meet you too. Great. The G-Man is on one of these monitors at some point.
Blast that little... Where did she get to? Lamar, come out of there!
Uh-oh, everything all right, Dr. Kleiner?
Oh, hello, Alex. Well, almost all right.
All right.
Lamar has gotten out of her crate again. If I didn't know better, I'd suspect Barney of trapping and... My goodness. Gordon Freeman.
Yeah, it's me, bro.
It really is you, isn't it?
I found him wandering around outside. Bit of a troublemaker, isn't he?
We owe a great deal to Dr. Freeman, even if trouble does tend to follow in his wake.
Yeah, they turn you into some kind of like superhero figure, some kind of like legendary figure.
You come at a very opportune time. Alex has just installed the final piece for our resurrected teleport.
I can't
including
take
the
any credit
Vortigons
for the
later on. They were
breakthrough,
the shit out
Your
of you.
talents surpass.
They have a special name for it.
Let's just see if this thing
Can't
works,
remember what
okay?
it is.
Well, is he here?
I think they call him
There
the
you are.
Free Man.
Man,
The
Gordon,
One Free Man
you
or something.
stirred up the hive. We can't keep him here long.
Good old
Doc. It'll
Starfield.
jeopardize
Remember
everything we
those?
worked
Huh?
Don't worry, he's coming with me.
Most of us are
That's
probably
right, Barney. This is
too
a
young to
red
remember the
letter.
Starfield
We'll
screensaver.
inaugurate the
or
new
screensavers
teleport
in
with
general.
a double transmission.
You mean it's working? For real this
There's
time?
the G-Man.
Because I still have nightmares about
Looks
that
like he's at the
cat.
train
No,
station.
there's nothing to be nervous about.
cat?
We've made major strides since then. Major strides.
What cat?
Doc, since he's not taking the streets, you might as well get him out of his civvies.
What?
Out of my
Oh dear,
civvies.
you're right. I almost forgot. Barney, I'll give
I
you...
love how this paper's
I've gotta get back on my
into this
shit,
trash in
but
this
okay.
recycling bin. They have a recycling bin in this piece of shit city. Kleiner, god damn it. When's this thing ever gonna get full? I don't...
Here we go. Ah!
Oh, there it
Damn it,
is.
get it off me!
Lamar, there you
I
are.
thought you got rid of that
I
test.
think when I first
Certainly
played
not.
this game,
Never fear,
I didn't
Gordon.
realize that
She's
Lamar was
deep
a head
and
crab.
completely
I
harmless.
thought it was like a pet
The
dog
worst
or
you might
something.
do is
And when it
attempt
came
to
out, I was like, oh shit, the
your
action
head
started.
fruitlessly.
No,
Get that thing away from me.
just
Yeah,
supposed
my
to be a
pet.
funny little scene.
Hop up. No, not
Hop
up
up.
there. No, no. Careful, Lamar. Those are quite fragile. Oh, fine. It'll be another week before I can coax her out of there.
Yeah, longer if we're lucky.
Barney, you're not an animal person.
Clearly. You know, I just had a thought. So,
Gordon, go ahead.
towards the end of Half-Life, you fight a Gonarch, right? It's a fully grown head crab. And it's got a giant sack on the bottom of it. It's huge. I think it's like a couple meters tall or something. And if he is planning on having a head crab as a pet, even though he's been de-beaked, whatever the fuck that means, I guess they took his teeth out or something. It could potentially grow into a Gonarch, right? I mean, I can't imagine having a Gonarch around would make a whole lot of sense. Something you've overlooked, Kleiner. You can mess around with some of the shit over here, like you can teleport this.
Gordon, if you please, I'm eager to see if your old suit still fits.
Yeah, me too. Just chill out. Don't nag me, bro. Alright. Let's get the suit on. That looks pretty low res. It's probably something texture from Gold Source. Original game. Here's the valve sound. Alright, let's...
Well, Gordon, I see your HEV suit still fits you like a glove.
It does.
At least the glove parts do. I've made a few modifications, but I'll just acquaint you with the essentials. Now, let's see. The Mark V Hazardous Environment suit has been redesigned for comfort and utility. Oh dear.
Doc, we don't have time
Doesn't
for
really
this.
think it's been redesigned.
At least get that
I want to know
suit
why
used
they
up
have a
for you.
hazard suit
Good idea.
at all.
There's a charger on the wall. I've modified your suit to draw power from Combine energy outlets, which are plentiful wherever they patrol.
Only 25 though. Oh, I'm playing hard too, right? Am I playing hard? Yes, I am.
Meanwhile,
die a bunch.
let's get this show on the road.
Oh, that's cool. They crossed someone out there. Oh, you can see some of the scientists from Half-Life 1. So, like the Albert Einstein looking guy.
Well, come on. Dr. Kleiner's waiting.
For him. I don't know who the fuck that is. That looks like Warren Spector. That, I guess, is Eli. Black Mesa Research Facility. This looks like it was taken in Sector C over by the desk. There's the vent you break through. Oh, that's cool. There's Gordon. Kleiner. I don't know who that is. Some midget. This is another one of the scientists from the original game. So there's 1, 2, 3 scientists from the original game. They changed Eli's face, though. They didn't change his face, and they didn't really change his face, but they did his a lot. Kleiner's a little bit, too. Scanning.
You coming?
Yeah, I'm coming. And the music is still Bailey-esque as shit.
Gordon,
Kelly Bailey.
why don't you position yourself
Best.
near the panel over there?
Well, that's another
and
person
wait
that
for
left
my
Valve
word?
too. Aside from the writers, Kelly Bailey left Valve as well.
Eli. Bit of a
Made all
hold
the
up on
music
this
for it.
end. You'll never guess who found his way into our lab this morning.
That's not who I think it is it?
Indeed.
How does
it
everybody
is.
remember
and
who
it's
I am?
our intention to send him packing straight away in the company of your lovely daughter.
Are you ready for us, Dad?
We're all set on this end.
Then let's do it.
See, I think it would have been better if they didn't know who you were. So if I remember correctly, in Half-Life, I think it was your first day, right? And you were late for your first day. Why would any of these people know me from Black Mesa?
That's what you said last time.
I'm sure there's a part of the story that explains it.
Initializing in 3, 2, 1.
Machinery's really cool.
So, fiddlesticks. What?
Fiddlesticks.
Doctor, the plug.
Dear me, you're right. Gordon, would you mind plugging us in?
Oh, yeah, sure.
It's right there, Gordon.
Like how they had to help players figure out where to put it, you know? Like they had to have that entity, that beam entity, whatever the fuck you call that.
Excellent.
You gonna let Gordon throw the switch?
Gordon,
Better.
go right right ahead. Very good. Final sequence.
Advocate declares something to do, huh?
I can't look.
Okay. Oh,
There she goes. There she goes.
Well, did it work?
See for yourself.
You know, I heard somebody on V today. They were saying, "Oh, it doesn't make any sense. How did the Combine not find their little hideout here?" Imagine the amount of power they would have to use, and of course the Combine can tell where power's going. The immense amount of power should have given them away. And someone says,
Good job, Gordon. Throwing that
when your
switch and
race
all.
has
I
a
can see your
Dyson
MIT
sphere and
education
has all the
really
energy
pays
it
for
could ever
itself.
need,
All right,
I don't think
buddy.
they'd give a shit.
Your turn.
So that was an
Gee,
interesting
thanks.
point.
Gordon, as soon as you're in position, we'll send you to Eli's.
And not a moment too soon.
Oh, I know. Alright, let's do it, bro.
Excellent. Initializing in 3, 2, 1. Barney, if you'd be so kind.
Good luck out there, Gordon.
Yes, indeed. We're ready to project you, Gordon. Bon voyage.
To project
and
me,
best
huh?
of luck in your future endeavors. Final sequence. What the hell? What is it? It's your pet, the freaking head hopper. Come on.
There he goes. Oh, shit.
There he is. Is Lamar with him? Get about that
The motion in the controls is slowed down.
I'm not sure.
There's a Vortigaunt, so he doesn't have his cuffs.
Stay put. We'll get you outside.
Something's drawing him away.
What's the meaning of this?
Dr. Green.
Who are you? How did you get in here?
Hey, come back. I'm getting him out of there. You can't just wade into the field. It will peel you apart. Just lost Gordon. What's going on? I wish I knew. I'm encountering unexpected interference.
Don't worry, Gordon.
There he is. Oh, we're losing it again.
The man I saw. I'm all but certain it was Gordon Freeman.
Of course, Ichthyosaur. Wow. Do you ever see an Ichthyosaur in this game outside of LC? I don't think you do.
Shut it down. Shut it down.
Oh, the scanners are on me. Shit. Here we go. And this is where the game begins proper. So up to this point, we've been playing for a while. Whoop. Let's see here. We're playing for a while. Let's take a look. Oh god, I've been streaming for a long time. I am streaming for a little over an hour, not too long. A couple appear a couple times. Ah, someone watching. Hey, hello, Echo, if you're still watching. I don't know if you are. Pleasure. Let's continue on. I got another hour in me, I think. Let's see. This is where we get the crowbar. The iconic weapon of Half-Life. I don't know how it became so fucking iconic.
Hey, Gordon.
I mean,
The Citadel's on
it was
full
just a
alert.
melee
I've
weapon in
seen it lit
Half-Life,
up
and that's
like
how
that.
I always...
Get out
That's
of
just how I
City
saw
17
it. I
as
never
fast as you
made
can,
a big
Gordon.
deal out of it.
Take the old canals, right? They'll get you to Eli's lab. It's a dangerous route, but there's a whole network of refugees, and they'll help you if they can. I'd come with you, but I gotta look after Dr. Kleiner. Oh, and before I forget, I think you dropped this back in Black Mesa.
I think you dropped this.
Good luck out there, buddy.
There it is, the iconic crowbar. Look at that. Look at that sucker. Oh boy. I never understood why it was this like one of the symbols of Half-Life, you know? One of the iconic items in Half-Life, a crowbar. Yeah, whatever. Let's save it here. Let's boogie. Here comes that Kaylee Bailey music. Oh yeah, here we go. Just look away from the scanner. It won't blind you. Go, go, go. Here comes the train. Oh, shit. Where's the Metro cop? He's on top of the train. How? These Metro cops are fucking feisty. And I think this is going to lead us to route now. Let's take a look here. Excuse me. Didn't mean to cough like that.
Help me!
Oh, someone's getting assaulted.
Stop! We didn't do anything!
I think this music's from the original Half-Life. You know, now that I think about it, a lot of music, I don't know about a lot of it, much of the music was actually reused in this game.
You'd better run. There's nothing else you can do here.
Oh, I got someone on Steam messaging me. Who could that be? Oh, it's Ace. Look at that. Good old Ace 2020. Boyd. Alright, let's get out of here. Born. I never understood this.
Going!
Yeah, I'm going. So I want as much ammo as I can get, so I'm gonna axe this guy. Eh. There's another one here. Okay. Explosive barrels over here, gotta be careful with that, I think. Now this part was pretty cool. Now when I first experienced this game, that train would come down, I assumed it would continue to go, and if you missed it, you would fail the game. So I would try to jump the train before it came to a stop, and oh my god, what a fucking nightmare that was. Here we go, I'm gonna do it anyway, old time's sake. Go, go, go. I made it. But yeah, the train comes to a stop eventually, you don't have to do that. Oh look, Ace is in the chat. Oh, Ace. Nice to have you here, Ace. Stay a while and listen. A bitch. Oh, there they come. There we go. Get the fuck out of here, man. I want the energy pack. Come on. Stay down. Okay. I think a CP's gonna pop up there. Let's wait till then. And now that we're starting to get into some action, you'll hear the heart line of those Metro cops. Killing a little what do you call it? Like a heart rate monitor, or something that monitors your heartbeat in the hospital. I don't know what it's called. It emits that signal, and then you start hearing the control. What do they call it? The operator, I guess, on the other end that's coordinating everything they're saying. They start giving, you know, their location away and all that shit. Whoa. It's hard. That in like one hit. That's right. Kelly Bailey music kicking in again. Explosive barrels everywhere. Ooh, there it goes. The action is what really set this game apart. Action and the pacing. The pacing is just incredible. Yeah. Pacing is just so good. jump into the nasty sewer water. Oh, Ace telling me Overwatch is the one speaking the location. Oh yeah, that's the Overwatch. No shit, I forgot about that. The Combine Overwatch. Ace 2020 boy, the Combine Overwatch. So Root Canal is one of those levels with water in it. Fuck. Water is the worst. One of the worst levels in the original Half-Life was a level called Apprehension. And there was a lot of water shit in that. Matter of fact, there was a puzzle in it that is very similar to the puzzle that we're going to see later, I think, when we get the airboat. G-Man's right there. Hello, G-Man.
Guess those sirens are for you, huh?
Yeah,
good thing
they're
you
for
found
me.
us. You're not the first to come through here by a...
This is the Freeman. The Combine's reckoning has come.
Look, we're just a lookout for the underground
Yeah,
rail.
you are talking to yourself
Main
in chat.
station's right around the corner. They'll get you started on the right foot. Meanwhile, let my Vortigaunt friend here give you a jolt to get you going.
Yeah, give me that jolt. Give me that jolt. So as you can see, he doesn't have the cuffs like in Vortigaunt in the beginning of the game.
Can't afford to get
I think that's real interesting. So they're still enslaved Vortigaunts, which is really neat.
We serve mystery.
And they say a lot of weird cryptic shit.
Hit the road, Jack.
We serve the same mystery. Some people will say the same mystery as the G-Man. Like everyone serves the G-Man or some shit like that. Man, Valve just really nailed the Overwatch, didn't they? Thank you, Ace, for letting me know it's the Overwatch. But they nailed that Overwatch voice and the words they use, the verbiage they use. It's perfect. I can see a dystopian future where everyone speaks like that. It's the authorities. Good old barnacle. Does that alarm not sound like a Star Wars, like Star Destroyer alarm? Don't shoot. Oh shit. Just murder these people. Fucking Metro policeman. Oh, there they are. Whoa, boy. Oh, shit. Okay, so we need to run. Ah, get out of my way! We got Combine above us with that machine gun, and we're gonna use the machine gun to fuck some shit up, huh?
This is Station 8. We heard 12 go down and out. Surgical strike units are targeting railway stations. Repeat, civil protection is coming down on underground stations. We're already getting refugees from 9 and outlying. Looks like we're...
Oh, there it goes.
Station 8, do you copy? Station 8, are you there? We have confirmed reports of manhacks. Repeat, they're filling the underground with manhacks.
The manhacks were a really nice addition to this game. And you see them a little bit later. They're like... they're basically drones with blades attached to them. And it's totally something I could see coming in the near future when we go through our dystopian phase. We're probably already in it, to be fair, the early stages of it. Man the guns, shall we? Goodbye. So the Metro cops are going to be coming everywhere. Where were they? There. Not very good aim. Oh shit! No, 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 no. From the rockets, run! They track you slightly, so you gotta get out of here. Phew. Okay, so these little symbols usually mean there's some items you can get. Let's see right here. Always be on the look. I think there's an achievement for getting all the caches. I don't know if it's in this one or one of the episodes. But... And this reminds me a lot of the training facility in Half-Life 1. The training grounds. If you've done that, I think the hologram in the training grounds is Gina Cross. Correct me if I'm wrong, I might be, but I think the hologram that's in the training ground for Half-Life 1 is Gina Cross. Who was in a Gearbox-made game, I think, for PS2. Okay.
Over here!
What do you want?
Keep going, friend. That station was raided, but there's others up ahead. I'm gonna stay here in case any others come through. Gotta keep the railway alive.
Doesn't look like much of a fucking railway. Look at this shit. Look at this shit. So Ace is talking to me on Steam right now. We both share an account. So he says, when you are talking to me in stream, all I can think of is the scene in Jurassic Park where everyone leaves the moving car and Malcolm says, "See, here I am now, sitting by myself, or talking to myself." That's the chaos theory. That's a good one here. That's a good one. Chaos. You must run. Get faster. Okay. So let's keep pushing on here. So we make our way through City 17. In the early stages of them discovering that Gordon's here. Local surveillance. Let's look at that 647E. 10107. The fuck is all that? What's a UPI? Whoa! No visual on UPI at the moment. What the fuck is that thing? So this is kind of cool. They blow it up. They're going to throw down flaming barrels that explode. But we're in water, right? And I died in here a couple times, didn't realizing that the water would protect you. I learned that the hard way. So we're shooting you a little bit so you don't get fucked out. Come on, go, go, go. There we go. Okay, there we go. This is where it really starts to get really hard. Where'd this guy go? There he is. Some more Metro cops coming this way. Man, I am a terrible aim. Somebody come across the bridge. This stuff was so impressive to me when it first came out. God, that was so cool. Can't shoot. Okay, so we're... Oh, that's right, we're going here. Well, if nothing's gonna attack me, let's look around for a second. Not that there's anything to really find here, I'm sure, but... Oh, it's the classic, what was it, the Gmod, or... What was that little thing? Gmod, is that what it's called? That's where it came out of. Some items. Yeah, look at these guys. Civil protection. I've always wanted a combine mask. I think that'd be a really cool thing to have for like Halloween or something. Over here, the drop pistol. That's what the police are going to turn into in this country. Is that getting too political? I don't know. Is that off limits? I don't know. This is YouTube after all, right? You can't get too political, otherwise they'll silence you. Okay, I'm gonna get caught by these things, aren't I? I feel like I'm not playing on hard difficulty. Is this how easy hard is? Shit. I'm sure it'll get harder when you start coming against the overwatch and stuff. Not just civil protection. And this is always real fun. You hear the helicopter coming, right? And of course everybody remembers the Apache from Half-Life 1 during surface tension and how that was just tense as shit. Whoa, hey now. Where am I going? Yeah, how the Apache was tense as hell. But in Half-Life 2, they break out the helicopters and vehicles real early on. Real strong way to get in. I don't have much sprinting power left, so I'll take the hits. It's okay, my name's Conor McGregor. I can take the fucking hits. Now this is one of the puzzles that a lot of people get when people criticize Half-Life 2 and they say how overrated the game is. One of the things they make fun of all the time are the fucking physics puzzles, right? And this is a good example. They'll say, "Oh, it's just a fulcrum and a fulcrum puzzle after fulcrum puzzle, or like a seesaw puzzle after seesaw puzzle," right? So you got to get up there. You got to keep this down. So what do? You got to weigh it down, right? And people just, you know, they always, a lot of folks just really hammer Half-Life 2 on its puzzles. When at the time, I remember playing this, it was intuitive that you had to do it. It wasn't like a Moon Logic fucking 1980s adventure game puzzle they had to figure out. But it was just a nice change of pace. You didn't have to deal with that all the time. It was really nice. Very refreshing to just have a nice, simple, physics-based puzzle. Like I said later on, there's a, when we get the buggy, there's a puzzle that's ripped straight from Apprehension level in Half-Life 1. That's the buoyancy puzzle. There's the fucking helicopter. We gotta run. Look at it go. Look at that thing go. There's two of them! We'll find out. He didn't hit me. How did he not hit me? Careful, don't go too fast. Oh, he got me that time. Oh, he got me that time. Door doesn't want to close, huh? Alright. So we're safe. Let's get some health. Poor bastard. As we go here. I feel like there's a zombie hiding if we go under here. A hidden zombie. I got a feeling there is. Well, maybe not. Well, there you go. There you go. Nothing to worry about there, huh? I always hated the jump scares in Half-Life 1. There's not nearly as many jump scares in Half-Life 2. Matter of fact, Half-Life 2 overall isn't really nearly as freaky or scary as Half-Life 1 was. I guess it's not a bad thing to change the pace, but Half-Life really had some horror elements in it that they just left out of this game. If you didn't know any better, you should always throw these flaming barrels before you go down. You're really getting alive. Barnacles. Oh. I walked right into that one. Shit. Get out of there. Where do I go? Over here, I think. There we go. Get out of here, man. 1984 shit. Get out of here. Well, it seems like there's 3 people watching the stream. Great. Half-Life 3 is confirmed. If that number ever changes, Half-Life's not going to come out, so... I don't know, Ace 2020 Boyd is probably one of them. talking to himself. Look at this shit. There we go. Ah, which way did we come from? Oops. Oops. Yeah, that's the wrong way. But again, something that Portal 2 couldn't even do. Well, of course Portal 2 could do it. They just designed it not to do it. Was have those fucking loading screens. Which were totally unnecessary. Ace will disagree with me, though. He didn't think there was such a big deal. But I felt like it went against Valve's design ethos from the very beginning. A little too close to that one. I think the manhacks are coming up pretty soon. Yeah, this is the guy I think I introduced to manhacks.
Civil protection is onto us. We're tearing up the railroad, covering our tracks. Looks like you're gonna be the last one through. Be glad you're not the guy they're looking for. Poor little bastard doesn't stand a chance.
Shows what you know, my friend.
CP unit in City 17. Now they're flooding the areas up ahead with manhacks. We better get going before they sweep through here.
Oh shit! Here they come. It's always better to use a crowbar, my opinion. They make that really high-pitched whining sound when you hit them too. There we go. Ace, what are you rolling your eyes at, Ace? Huh? What are you rolling your eyes at?
That was a close call. Thanks for your help.
No problem.
It isn't safe here. I'll give you some supplies to keep you going, and you really got it.
All right, I'm out. Don't worry about it.
Good luck out there.
You too. Manhacks were a real great addition to this game. Really helped build that fear. Not scary fear, not like Half-Life before. The unpredictable nature of it. See, Ace is already talking about loading screens in the chat. Good for you, Ace. Oh shit! Ah, I just fucked myself. I'm dead. I'm dead. Oops. Oops. What was it? F9? Fuck that up. Oh, I got a backtrack. Might have been. Actually, there might have been a load screen before that. Autosave. Let's do this one. Pistol's really really slow, otherwise it gets very inaccurate. So we've got Ace in the chat rolling his eyes over the fucking loading screens. Another thing that we really disagree about is, at least I think we do, is taking control away from the player. They do that in Portal a couple times. Portal 2 at least. Oh! I fucked it up again.
Systems engaged.
Wow.
Morphine administered.
Yeah, taking control away from the player is just, it's not a very Half-Life thing to do. It's really not a really Valve thing to do, too, to be fair. Alright, this is gonna be tough. Let's go. Come on. Move! There, safe. There. Yeah, some civil protection here. Some weapons. Well, this is where the zombie is in. In episode 2, they don't take control away from you. Well, yeah, the scene with Alex on it. Yeah, I guess you got a point. They do that too. Not happy with that either, to be fair. But it's really not a Valve thing to do, you know. They were... G-Man's speech is a different story, in my opinion. G-Man's speech, you're in his control. You're in the void. You can't move because he won't let you move. You know that's true. Definitely a zombie coming up. Oh yeah, jump scare. The Portal 2 scene where they stop taking control, where they don't give you control as a player in your room when they're moving your room around. Wheatley's trying to get you out, and he's knocking your room all over the place, and it gets torn to pieces. Yeah, they take your... Well, see, the Portal 2 where you're in the elevator going up, they don't take your control away. That's just a video. I don't even think that's the game engine. And I felt cheated by that. Really cheated. Another one of those useless water machines. Useless water machines. I feel like we're in residue processing all over again. It's me here. The auxiliary power is tied to the oxygen, which is weird. Source filmmaker? What do you mean source filmmaker? What are you talking about? Oh, you're saying that the elevator scene was made with source filmmaker. Yeah, it probably fucking was. Oh, shit. I gotta switch over. Oh, wow. I'm so close to death, it's unreal. I need your armor, your energy packet. Come on. You didn't drop one. You didn't drop an energy. Ah. Lame. Fuck. Run. I just don't have the life to be shot at all day right now. Come on. Ah! I'm getting real antsy here, huh? Notice how the lights don't turn yellow when you shoot it, but they turn yellow when you hit the control bar. Whoa! The lights turn yellow. There you go. Under the pipe here. Let's see. Where do we go from here? Just follow this? Someone's played this game so many times you think I know exactly where to go, huh? What? I hate how the suit energy, the battery, and your oxygen are tied together. It just doesn't make sense to me. Especially when it's dark like this. Oh, there we go. No! Oh, that was close. Machine gun. Come on over. There it is. Ah! This is what I'm talking about, the man hacks. They make that situation really weird, really awkward. Look at this. Ah! Man hacks? Oh. Maybe the game's a little bit harder than I thought. It's just a little bit hard. Another one? Jesus.
Minor lacerations detected.
classic red light that was all over Half-Life 1, huh? First event that I can think of. Oh shit. Save. Where am I going? Where am I going? Down. Nope. Down might have been a bad idea. Sure, I don't know. There's a lot of... Oh yeah, there's a lot of explosive barrels in there. Weapons don't work underwater. Oh, these things are everywhere. Oh, get out of here. Shit. Oh, damn. Fuck out of here. One swift shot. Oh, there's more shit. Go. Alright. There's something I do to raise the water in this room, I think. Yeah, it's that valve right there. There we go. Flood the compartments. Alright, cool. So let's keep going. Is there another way to go? Oh, that's right, you gotta go back down. And then through that big tunnel. Keep going. Alright, so I'm not gonna have oxygen. I don't think Ace would forgive me if I died from drowning. Go. Didn't take any damage in, it's good. Crouch jump saves you a lot here. First time I played this one, it was very difficult for me to get up from these wheels, these wooden wheels, up onto this platform. And again, the crouch jump, you gotta master the crouch jump. You don't know the crouch jump? I don't know, you're just not playing Half-Life right, I guess. Keep in mind, this was Half-Life was the first game I think that I ever really had to use the crouch jump. And ever since then, every game I play, it's like second nature to try and crouch and jump, even though they don't put that type of mechanic in their game. It's just really common for me to slap that control button. Slap that like button! D. Hey now. Of course, there's fucking 3 feet behind me and that shit there. Nice and easy. I feel like the manhacks are more durable than the Metro Cops. God damn. Okay. Odd sewer system. I guess that's just how they were. You know? Old ass sewer system. I feel like this should be red slime. Ghostbusters like. Another one. Manhacks do get a little competitive though. It's really cool as they approach you, their blades come out, like their blades are in, but as they come close you hear that sound. Out come the blades. And that lawnmower sound is just perfect. Nailed that shit, man. Now, I don't know if Kelly Bailey only did only did the music. I think he did some of the sound effects too, and goddamn, he's always on point with that shit. Let's see. I got some nerdy shit on my table back there. Oh yeah, fucking Papa John's box is real nerdy, bro. I got a motherboard box on there. But yeah, Papa John's, not too nerdy. Not too nerdy. Alright. Did I just go the wrong way? Yeah, I did. Let's go back the correct way. There we go. This way. It's over here. Helicopters are looming. That Apache, man. That Apache. And it's a shame you can't really destroy the Apache either. At least not until you get the not the buggy, the airboat. And you have the boss fight with the Apache.
Hey! You're Freeman, aren't you? We got word you were coming. You got here at a bad time.
Black Mesa East to Station 6. Do you read? Dr. Freeman is on his way downriver. Lend him the airboat and give him all the help you can. Repeat, Gordon Freeman has returned. It is critical he reaches Black Mesa East.
Black Mesa East.
Better get going now.
Let's move it. And this part of the game draws on surface tension when the head crabs are bearing out of the ground, so they use some similar gameplay elements coming up too. A lot of similarities between the two games. Tons.
They're shelling us!
Ah, shit. And it begins. This place is just... Here they come, shit. Gotta run, gotta run. I don't know where I'm going. There's the zombie sound. It sounds really fucked up, man. There we go. Shit. Whoop. Electrified, get out of there. Cool. Alright, do not... Ah, where's it? There we go. Do not touch the walls. Electrified. Oh, shit. There we go. So now we're going to get the airboat. Here we go.
Hey, Dr. Freeman. I've been hoping you'd show up. Got this airboat all gassed up and ready to go.
Cool.
It's gonna be tough dodging civil protection out there in the open, but drive hard and you'll make it. You'll find more help up at Station 7. Just a few bends up the river. It's the old red barn. Climb on in and fire her up.
Alright, will do. Okay, so I'm gonna take a quick break. It's 2:15. I've been streaming for about an hour, 49 minutes.
Go ahead and get in the boat, Dr. Freeman.
Get some water. Maybe have a cigarette or something. For everybody that's not Ace 2020 Boyd, pleasure. Thanks for watching. While I'm gone, you can probably go back to the beginning of the stream and check out the Epistle 3. I went over that a little bit, gave some thoughts about it. That's why I'm playing Half-Life today. And maybe for the next few days, because I've only really been able to think about Half-Life the past couple of days ever since Laidlaw put out the Epistle. Really neat piece of writing. You should go back and take a look at it if you haven't seen it. If you just type in Epistle 3 into Google, you can check it out if you don't want to go all the way back. I'm going to put this on pause for a second, and I'll be back shortly. Okay. And if everything's working, should be ready to go again. All right. Let's bring it back. So before I continue playing, the reason why I'm playing Half-Life 2 is such an old game, everybody knows it, everybody's probably played it and seen it, just because, you know, the Epistle came out and it's got me thinking about Half-Life recently, so I'm back on the train, you know what I mean? Let's keep going. So we're about to head out on the airboat, and pretty soon we'll come across that buoyancy puzzle. Came straight from the apprehension level Half-Life 1. A lot of people criticize this part of the game too. Controls are too floaty, especially when you get in the car around the beach. A lot of folks did not like this part of the game. And you hear the little beeps going off. That's the Geiger counter on your suit. Pick up the radiation from this toxic sludge. There's a head crab over here. Whoa, where'd he go? Yeah, between the geometry, clip through. Let's open this up. Cool. And we're gold. The airboat is probably one of the parts, one of the tougher parts of the game. Really sticking to it, especially if you can't keep it in fluid motion. The whole thing is probably designed so you feel that sense of urgency as you go through water as you're running. But when you're constantly hitting objects and getting slowed down, it's not that much fun. And I think the G-Man's up here somewhere. Yeah, there he is. Another G-Man sighting. There he is. He's just kind of chilling. I don't know if there's a trigger for him to walk away as you get closer or what, but hopefully he's still there when we come back. I'll land this in there. So there's a bunch of items here. Walks away mysteriously. See, there he goes. G-Man is one strange character. I think he was. I think Eli calls him some kind of like interdimensional bureaucrat or something. Hey, the burning one's here. Cool. What's up, burning one? Get to see some zombies throw some shit at me, huh? Probably should just use the crowbar. Save the ammo.
Station 12, come in. Station 12, do you read?
I'm tempted to stay here and see if they say anything better than that, but I think that's all it is. I think some of these floorboards break too, so I'll be careful. And whoa, head grab. So the G-Man walked into here. He's totally gone. A lot of the people say it has something to do with his briefcase. Briefcase is one of those. It's one of those things that's really iconic for the G-Man. There's a lot of hubbub. So what's inside of his briefcase? I think it's some kind of teleporter. Like in the Borealis, they had that teleporter that could go from point A to point B, not just in space but in time, like they say in the Epistle. I think that's what's in his briefcase, or something similar to that. That probably wasn't fleshed out until after Half-Life, because he had to enter a portal in the original Half-Life to move anywhere. So I think he did. I don't ever recall him walking into a portal, but I think it's a miniature advanced portal device that's on the Borealis. That would explain why you can get to places. See, that's what I'm talking about. Not fluid, running the ship. Right. So this is where shit starts getting a little funky. Here's that puzzle I've been talking about. Ah, fuck the supplies. So we need to jump that ramp. And gotta throw these things on here, just like that puzzle in Apprehension. The first Half-Life. Where's the... I could have sworn there was more of those buoyant containers under the water. Oh, you gotta go through here to get them. Alright. God damn. There's another one? Hopefully in our Orwellian future that we're leading towards, we don't have shit like that. God. There they are. There they are. Throw those in the water. Okay. Well, at least there's still birds in City 17. You're chirping a little bit. I figured most of the wildlife is gone. Maybe you can tell me. Oh, there we go. The airships. Is there a biological aspect to some of those ships? Those airships? The ramp's over there. Shit. Right out of the airboat. And they're tough to see too because they really blend into the sky. Long tongues. I think at some point we'll come across a car that has a block tongues. I like this second. Hey. Not so fast. There you go. Okay, so this one, it didn't happen. So now sometimes when you kill them, and they have that flatline sound, Overwatch will start echoing out their position, where they were, and what happened. That guy didn't do it. Maybe it's only for Overwatch units and not the CP. Really big change of environment here too.
We now have direct confirmation of a disruptor in our midst. One who has acquired an almost messianic reputation in the minds of certain citizens. His figure is synonymous with the darkest urges of instinct, ignorance, and decay. Some of the worst excesses of the Black Mesa incident have been laid directly at his feet. And yet, unsophisticated minds continue to imbue him with romantic power, giving him such dangerous poetic labels as the one free man, the opener of the way. Let me remind all citizens of the dangers of magical thinking. We have scarcely begun to climb from the dark pit of our species' evolution. Let us not slide backward into oblivion, just as we have finally begun to see the light. If you see this so-called free man, Report him.
Free man.
Civic deeds do not go unrewarded, and contrariwise, complicity with his cause will not go unpunished. Be wise. Be safe. Be aware.
Oh, sure. You know, he mentions that Gordon's became a messianic figure. I mentioned earlier, I never understood how it became such a messianic figure, because he got to Black Mesa, and I think that was his first day on the job, and all of a sudden everything went to shit. Who would have known Gordon Freeman, guy who was late to work on his first day on the job? I mean, unreal. This guy, poor guy, he got it rough. So we got some grenades in here, right? Yeah, cool. Let's make sure we have grenades to quick tap. Whoop! Oh, almost threw that grenade out. Oof. Oh shit. So they definitely know I'm here now. The camera's got me. They're everywhere. Stuck in the door. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Lucky. I got really lucky. Just don't stop coming. So I'll need the health, because when we go through that door, I think there's a machine gun nest over there. That's why they give you all these infinite grenades. Line of sight. That's it.
Loss detected.
Again? Nope. Okay, so he's not getting back on the turret, so he's not that smart. There we go.
Step 2, unit deserved. Remaining units contained.
Yeah, see? Flatline tells you all about him. There's too many of them. Pistol. Well. We're good now. Great. It's really nice that they put this building here for you to go through. It changes the pace really nicely. Very different from on the boat. It's always good to have things mixed up as you go through, and that's what Dom's really good at doing. What do we do here? I forgot now. This doesn't work. That's clearly what opens the door. Explosive barrels, I guess we shoot them, right? There it goes. Oh, yeah. There goes the alarm. Oh, they're pissed. Blinded. Oh yeah, there we go. Really wish I had some of those grenades for the gun. There they are. I get them? Yeah, there they go. Oh, they're everywhere. I'm dead. No. They got me. Alright, let's see where I quick save last. Not too bad. We got Ace chiming in again. There we go, cool. Well, I guess Ace is heading to bed. Good night, Ace. Pleasure. Pleasure's all mine, Ace. Quick save here. Grenades. Here we go. We know where they are. Him. Got them. Cool, got them all. Whoa, 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 there's one more left. There we go. Man, I am screwed for health. Whew. Is there any more health in here that I didn't collect? A little bit. Take some more grenades. 43 health, that's, whew, that's rough. Very rough. There we go. Back in the boat. I think the rocket car is coming up here soon. It's gotta be nice. Bridge. Not a big deal. There's the rocket car. There it is. Oh, look out. Almost got hit. Woo! Barnacles. It's going to turn into slalom pretty quick. Oh, no, the rocket car is shit. Oh, I got hit. Ooh, I am on the brink. Oh, I'm just so dead. So dead. Oh, I have 6 health. Oh no. See, this is that position where you quick save and screw to yourself. You don't, if you can't find health soon, and you really hurt your chances of making it forward in any kind of decent time. Stuck between low health and dying. No, not good, not good. Luckily, there's a little cash here. Now, how do we get the cash? Take the bricks out. That's how we do it. I could have sworn I just saw Magnum ammo. Don't even have a Magnum yet. That's fine. Let's get back in the boat and keep it going. Oh, I don't think I can. Oh, maybe I can. Hold on. This game brings me back. Mark Laidlaw really knows how to pull the strings, huh? Write one blog post and everyone's going to start playing the game again. He knows what he's doing. Still not much happening. That is closing. So if we can get out of here. No, let me out. I shot my own gun and scared myself. Oh boy. Oh boy. There we go. Nope, nope, nope. Whew. Yeah. Helicopter's definitely coming back here pretty soon. There it is. Shit. I gotta get out of here. Nope, wrong way. Oh, I'm so fucked. Oh no. I have to get out of here. I'm gone. It's over. I have to reload here. Lane. Nothing a quick save can't fix though, right? Just a quick save. This is another one of those parts of the game that was really tough to navigate. So you had the pressure of the helicopter, you weren't sure where to go. Hopefully I've gotten it down. This is a little harder than I remember. Damn. I gotta start all over? Shit. Just run. I think I've set myself up for failure with the amount of time I have in quick saving. Nope. Go, 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 go. Oh. Oh. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Very high level of health, so let's... Where? Nearly dodged that one. Woo! So we got some combat up here. Nice. Forget the manhacks and keep going. Oh no. Oh, come on. Oh, that's it. I'm done. Let's try again. A little bit of health. Keep moving on. Oh, I am the worst team ever. All right. saving. Might not be a good idea, but I'm saving. Let's take out the grenades. Pretty confident there's someone over there. Whoop, look out. Oh. Man, this is just a wipe fest. Ugh. Guess hard's a little harder than I thought, huh? Oh! They planned that from the beginning, huh? They knew you'd be coming around the corner, so they made it shoot right there. Those bastards. Whoa! Hey! 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 Damn. Alright, I'm back here now. Man, this is brutal. No, no, no. Still don't have any ammo for that. Not good. Not good. Oh no. It's getting to that point. So there's a metro cop behind us. Be real careful. He didn't drop any health. No! Yep. It's one of those moments. See, I just fucked myself. See that? Okay, he didn't hit me that time. Oh, please let there be a nice big... Oh, there's health. Good. Good, 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 good. He kept the same sound, too. That's really cool. The first game to the second game. Gotta actually hide here pretty soon. Save here and go, 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 go. Where am I going? Where am I going? Probably this way. Ooh. Just go, just go. Oh! There we go. Here we go, here we go. Take him out. Take him out. Where'd he go? Did he already leave? I guess he already left. Cool. Oh, I made it through finally. Oh, God. I didn't think I was going to make it through that. Alright, let's open the gates. Excellent. I think I left the boat over here. And what's really nice about this too is you went through the entire base, right? You start off over here where the airboat is. You had to break the lock, go through some rooms, helicopter chase you on the surface there. You went into a warehouse, and then everything looped back to here. But from the outside coming in, you'd never even think that you could just loop around like that and get easy access back to the boat. Really nice level design. Really nice level design. And you never expect to have to do that kind of stuff. Like, you play something like Skyrim or Oblivion, and they have to go into a dungeon, and you always know there's going to be a shortcut back to the beginning. But here you can never predict something. For your first time playing. Really nice design. I just love that. Another one. Shit, I forgot about that. That's right there. This is where everything turns into slalom, huh? There we go. Could be wrong, but I think the other side of this pipe, there's a rocket car. Oh, I guess there wasn't a rocket car. Cool. So not that part, right? That's wrong. Oh, it's right to the head. It's right to the face. Get chasing. Now this might be the part where it knocks down that big tower too. Not tower, but like a smokestack, a column, a chimney. Not a chimney. This music was in Half-Life 1 too. Oh, right in the face with a mine. It's kind of tricky to stay on top of this. Oh no! Oh, the physics! Oh, the physics that got me. It's just the shape of it, you know, the circular shape and stuff to stay on. So once you get up to the side, you're in for a bad time. Oh. I guess this is what people are talking about when they criticize the airboat section of the game, like this. I guess I don't blame them. If they're referencing this part specifically, yeah. What? Yeah. This is it. Here we go. Oh, don't fall off. Don't fall off. There we go. I mean, they're right. If you get stuck up, it really takes away from the impact of the whole sequence, you know? Bunch of logs right there. Should have stayed up there to get the path of power. way. Ooh, ooh, nasty. When the mines get in front of it, you're in for a pretty tough time. Don't fall off. Get out. There we go. Still launching his little rockets. Let's just take it out the front. Let's go. Oh, I can't take it out the front. I didn't realize there was a gate there. So you really have to drop it down? Huh. Whoa. I feel like that's going to be a very hazardous height to go for. Can I walk downstairs? Ah, fuck it. Let's just do it. Here we go. Off to the races again. Here's this Here it is. Ooh, boy. Oh yeah, you take that side off. I don't know. Yeah, fuck it, I gotta run it first. Imagine if they had that whole physics scene system they had in episode 1 and 2. That right there, that would have been really impressive. Ooh, nasty. Okay. There's a cache up here somewhere. Oh no, this is like the dryer or the washer puzzle, another weight puzzle. Push this down here. Helicopters can't find us. That's good. Let's take this latch out first. There we go. Oh, really? This thing is real finicky. Now, hopefully, we get the gun attachments. Whoa. This is the part with the gun attachment.
Hey! You're Freeman, aren't you?
The messianic figure,
I see with my own eyes.
according to Dr. Brain.
Dr. Gordon Freeman himself.
Just in time, Doc. We gotta move out before the Combine picks us up. We're just getting ready to pull out.
That Vortigern.
We better hurry.
They changed the Vortigern so much from game to game.
Greetings to the Freeman.
Come on in. I'll show you what you're up against.
And their voice is just so different, like from the first game. The first game, it was, of course, it was total gibberish, you know, speaking something, but they had a much more extraterrestrial sound to
Come on,
it.
get in here.
I mean, he is speaking English here, but the pitch was totally different. The way they did it was, I think, more appropriate in the first game. Way more appropriate. Alright, let's go. What do you want?
Come on in. I'll show you what you're up against.
What are we up against? Come on, tell me, spit it out.
Here, take a look at this. This here's the dam. It's just up ahead. Eli's hideout is here, a stone's throw from the apron and nestled in the old hydro plant. But getting there, with that hunter chopper on your ass, next to impossible. Good news is, the Vortigaunt's working his magic on your airboat, so you'll have a little more firepower going forward.
Well, I hope so.
I think he's just finishing up now. Go on out.
So these are all maps of the area, huh? I wonder if this is like actually pulled from a real map or some artist just mocked this up. All right.
There we are. That gun came off one of the same hunter choppers that you're up against.
Oh, cool.
I always like to bring a little iron into a firefight. Take that chopper down, and you should be able to tear on through to Eli's place.
Okay.
The Freeman will accept this weapon or suffer greatly on the road ahead.
Such wise words.
We remember the Freeman. We are coterminous.
There's one of those weird things they say.
There is no distance between us. No false veils of time or space may intervene. We see you still in Black Mesa. Clearly we see you in the Nihilant's chamber.
I brought up the Nihilanth, huh? And boss of Half-Life.
We bear witness to the bright eternity of the Nihilant's demise. You leap, you fall, we see you flash between the barriers.
We bear witness to the bright eternity of the Nihilanth's
Get going, Dr. Freeman. I can see Eli was right about you.
For a brief time you joined us, you are one between the worlds.
For a brief time you joined with us. You joined with? What do you mean join with us? Because when the Resonance Cascade is happening, you briefly get teleported to a small group of Vortigaunts. I don't know if they were enslaved or not. I'd have to go back and look and see if they had the cuffs on their arm. And then you get teleported to another part of Zen. But that's... I'm done talking to you. It was nice talking, though.
Let's get a move on. Gotta clear out before they...
Alright, but I've been streaming for a while now, about 2 hours 40 minutes. It's about 3 a.m. I'm going to bed. For those of you who are watching this, thank you very much. Pleasure to have you on. I'm Fruit Brute. This is Shift W. And take it easy.